how are we? How like the Hawks? Really? Are you kidding me? Like what, dude?
Welcome back to our Eastern Conference playoff previews with your host Justin and Matt here on the Champions Round channel. Make sure you guys download the app and subscribe to the channel as we go through this playoff previews and take you through the entire NBA playoffs. Now, we're going to start here with the Celtics and Hawks, right? And this would be an intriguing matchup because the Celtics have been one of the frontrunners to win the Eastern Conference the entire season. And the Hawks, were in their playoff lives, and happened to win the game against the Heat to become the 7th seed overall here in the Eastern Conference. These two teams, it's not short of talent. Both of these teams have incredible talent on both sides. So we should be in for a pretty good matchup, right, Matt?
Let me just say this, okay? The beginning when Justin and I first started filming, I was good. Like the Hawks were my sleeper team. Then I wrote off the band. I was like, all right, the Hawks suck. I'm over this. I've seen enough. But against this Boston defense versus the Atlanta offense, I think for me is one of the big storylines here. I also was looking back, and Boston shot the ball from 3. Like if you look at their numbers, they outscored Atlanta. It's ridiculous. I worry about how they're going to deal with that. You know, Boston loves to pull the big man, and, Horford will sit on the outside, and Brown or Tatum will drive in and kick it out. But, hey, Atlanta put it to Miami. Like, they just squeaked by. They beat up that Miami team. And like you said, Trae Young, Murray, they got talent. They got guys, John Collins.
It's there, man. And, for this Atlanta team, I think we've counted them out, right? Trae Young is on the trade block. They don't look the same. Coach got fired midseason, so Quinn Snyder came in. We've seen them supposed to be this mid-tier team in the East, and here they were in the play-in tournament. There's a lot with this Atlanta team that, it leads to a lot of questions, right? Because they have the talent. The backcourt's there with Trae Young, DeJounte Murray. We know the backcourt should be one of the, there's an offense, defense balance there. You look at the front court, rebounding. You saw how they crushed Miami on the rebounding. It's like, that's what we expected out of John Collins and Clint Capella pairing with Onyeka Okongwu coming off the bench. Like, this is what we expected out of the Hawks team. So they showed it against the Heat. But against the Celtics team that does have some interior back, they got Robert Williams back, and their perimeter guards are among the elite in the entire league. When you talk about Marcus Smart, Brogdon, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, like they have exactly what you're looking for there defensively and offensively. So where's the sticking point? Like, what's the differentiator? And to me, I think it is Trae Young, right? We've seen him in the playoffs turn into like Ice Trae, right? Really competitive. He elevates his level of play. But defensively, I think this is a struggling point for this team. DeJounte Murray is going to be able to guard Jaylen Brown, or maybe he can guard Marcus Smart. But then that leaves Derek White, Malcolm Brogdon on Trae Young. Very exploitable because Trae Young, his level of defense isn't up to par. So I think there could be some struggles there for this Atlanta defense.
Personally, for me, when I look at the 1-8 and 2-7 matchups in the East, it's kind of like when you go to the movies and you're watching the previews, right? And you're getting ready for the cinema to start. Like, I'm just waiting for that Milwaukee-Boston series. I'm just gonna keep it real with you, Justin. Like, yeah,
you're not giving this Hawks team a chance at all. You're like, nah, Celtics already won.
What? Maybe the Hawks win a game, but let's be realistic here. This Boston team is built for a title run. I think Tatum's gonna play with a chip on his shoulder. Even Brown has made comments about potentially being the number one, wanting to be the number one guy on another team. Like, when you have a duo like that, it's really, really, really hard to count you out, especially picking you to go out in the first round. I would be shocked if this Boston team even went to 6 or 7 games.
Yeah, they're very heavy favorites to win this series outright. And so when I look at, the coaching aspect, right? Quinn Snyder is a good coach. We got their first-time head coach there for the Celtics. So they're obviously that's going to be a differentiator as well, but they got to lean on that championship, at least the NBA Finals experience, right? They've been to a Finals, and this team, for all intents and purposes, like you mentioned, is built to win a championship, but they've had some holes at times this year, right? When you talk about Jaylen Brown and just the chemistry issues there, is that something that will come up here during the playoffs? There's some questions about this Boston team, and there's a reason why they slipped from the number 1 seed to the number 2 seed, right? They let Milwaukee kind of creep up on them and overtake that spot, and they never got it back. Now they are getting healthier. Al Horford is all the way back. Robert Williams expected to be healthy for this series. Jason Tatum, man, this is a big series for him to kind of just show, you know what, I'm the leader. I'm ready for this playoff run. We haven't talked much about him because he's kind of been under the radar since his early MVP stake that he had. It's kind of dialed down here. So Is there real chemistry issues? Will Jason Tatum step up to the plate? Matt, give us your prediction for this series.
I think Tatum will. I do. As you said before, it's weird because like Boston, the beginning of the year was talked about, they were killing it. They were one of the best teams all the NBA. Then they kind of slipped and were just kind of average, and Milwaukee crept up. But I think this is again one of those teams that's just looking forward to the playoffs. Like they know once they get in, smartness time as well. Like it's going to be rocking there. That crowd is ready. You know how Boston sports fans are. They want a championship.
Unfortunately, right?
They're hungry. I think Tatum and Brown are going to kill it. I do. I really think, there's all these questions about chemistry and stuff like that, but I think they're going to put it aside come playoff time and take care of business against this Atlanta Hawks team.
Yeah, I got Celtics in 6 in this one. Okay. Now, a lot of people probably have the Celtics either sweeping or going in 5 games, and Atlanta hasn't beaten the Celtics this entire regular season. I think they're 3-0, 4-0 against them this season. But this playoff Atlanta Hawks team, we've seen them in the past make a deep playoff run. And it is because Trae Young does elevate his level of play. Kind of like Jimmy Butler in Miami. When you see Miami as a 6 seed, they're not really a 6 seed. I think that about this Hawks team, and we weren't giving them enough credit towards the end of the year because we expect them to blow it up. They don't look right. The chemistry's off. But Trae Young gets locked in, and there's something about having those competitors on your team that makes everything not just an easy path, right? So the Celtics, for all the question marks they've had all season, they're now getting, I think this is actually a worse matchup for them than Miami would have been. I think Atlanta is kind of coming in as a wild card, very low expectations. Everybody expects them to get bounced. I don't think this is a quick series. I think Atlanta can steal one in Boston. I think they take care of their home games, and I can see this being a 6 or 7 game series. I'll go with the 6 in the pedigree of the Boston Celtics just for that reason, because the championship level of play that this team expects to play at. But I am not counting out this Atlanta Hawks team.
Yeah, Boston cannot look past Atlanta. They just can't. They have to take them seriously. I said earlier, I'm going to stick with it. Boston in 5. I think there's going to be some really close games here. Maybe Tatum, Brown, one of those guys hits a big shot with a few seconds left to steal a win in Atlanta. But ultimately, I can't. I got to go Boston in 5. You almost had me there. You almost had me Boston in 6. You almost got me. I'm sticking with Boston in 5.
I'm not mad at it, but I guarantee one thing happens. I guarantee we either get a game winner from Trae Young or Jason Tatum. We will get game winners this series. It kind of gives me the vibes, I'm not going to lie, and I know this is like the red and the green. It's going to sound kind of corny, but it reminds me a lot of that Bulls-Celtics series, right? Where the Bulls were the 1st seed and the Celtics were, or maybe the Bulls were the 8th seed and the Celtics were the 1 seed. I can't remember the exact seeding, but 2011, I want to say, or 2010, the Bulls and the Celtics had an incredible first round series, back and forth games, a lot of overtimes. This Hawks team is very gritty. So I guarantee we will get at least one game-winning shot. Game winner from Trae Young, Jason Tatum, book it.
I wouldn't be mad. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you guys do drop a comment about your predictions. Make sure you guys drop a like. If you have not subscribed to the Champions Round channel, go also make sure you download the app. Go play Spicy Slips, Daily Dozen, 7 Stakes, all that fun stuff. For myself and Mr. Justin, thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.